Hello friends, welcome back to the Python programming session. In today's session, let's cover the radio button in Tkinter. So friends, what is a radio button? A radio button is one of the most important widget in Tkinter. It shows multiple choices to the user, out of which the user has to choose exactly one option. So many options will be shown to the user and the user is required to choose only one option. He would be allowed only to choose one particular option. A Python function is associated with a radio button and this function is called when you click on the radio button. So the syntax for it is radio button R in capitals, master which is the parent window or the main window, and then the options. The various options available are command, variable, value, and there are many more options. Some important ones I've covered over here. Command. This function is called every time the user changes the state of the radio button. So when he clicks on the radio button, or when he selects the radio button, or when he deselects the radio button, this particular function gets called. Variable. The control variable that this radio button shares with other radio buttons in the group. So this is the TK. It's the variable which holds the value whether it's on or off, and then we have the value when the radio button is turned on by the user. This particular variable is set on, and if the radio button is turned off, the variable will be set off. So let's look into it with the help of an example. So firstly, let's see what the output we want. So I'll execute the code. So here language you want to learn. So it asks the user to select the language which he or she wants to learn. So if I click on C, I get a display message saying you selected C programming language. Now if I click on C++, it says you selected C++ programming language. Similarly, if I click on Python, it says you selected Python programming language. So at a time it selects only one. We cannot select two options. In check button, we could select more than one option, but in radio button, we can select only one particular option. So this particular thing, language you want to learn is a label widget. This is the radio button, and this is again a label widget. So now let's code it and see how it works. Initially, let me say win is equal to tk win.geometry 300 pixels by 300 pixels. Then I'm having a label widget lb1 label1 is equal to label, place it in the main window, text equal to select language which you want to learn, and the font for this particular the text is equal to Arial, 30, and the foreground color of the text is blue. So this is the label which I've created which says select the language which you want to learn. And now I have to pack it on the screen. So label 1.pack. So after the label widget, we have to create a radio button. So let me say R1 is equal to radio button. Place it in the main window. And the text for the first radio button is equal to C. that is C programming language. So I've given it as C, and the variable is equal to radio. So the variable is radio. So radio is a Tkinter variable, and we have to define this particular variable. So let me say radio is equal to int var. Since it's a Tkinter variable, we have to say whether it holds an integer value or a string value. After this, I have to say font value equal to 1, comma, font equal to Arial, comma, 20, and the command which it has to execute is equal to the function name, that is selection. So friends, here I am having a radio button which is placed in the main window. Text is equal to C and the variable is equal to radio. Radio is a Tkinter variable, so I am defining it as int var, and value is equal to 1. And when we click on this particular radio button, the command selection function gets executed, and the value for when we click this particular radio button, radio will have the value equal to 1. Similarly, let's create two another radio buttons and call it as radio button 2. So R2, which is having the text equal to C++. Variable is again the same variable. In check button we used to have three different variables, but in this we have the same variable and the value changes. Here we say the value is equal to 2 and command again is selection. And then we come to the third radio button, which is called R3. Place it in the main window. Text is equal to Python. Value is equal to 3. And it calls the same function called selection. Now we have to pack these three particular radio buttons. So R1.pack, and I'm giving anchor equal to west. Anchor equal to west. So it will be placed to the west side. Similarly, R2.pack, anchor equal to west. R3.pack, anchor equal to west. So we have packed the three radio buttons on the screen. Now we have to display the message. So for this we need one more label button, label widget, label 2 equal to label, place it in the main window, label 2.pack. Then we have the main loop, win.main loop. Now we have to write the selection function, the function which it executes. So we have to say def selection. And what are we checking? We are checking the value which is present in the radio button, variable radio. So if radio.get equal to 1, so when will the value be equal to 1? When it selects the C programming language, radio will have the value equal to 1. So, and it executes the selection function. So when it goes into the selection function, I'm again checking if radio.get equal to 1. If it is 1, Then I am saying my select equal to you selected C programming language. Elif else if radio.get equal to 2. If user selects C++, then radio will be having the value equal to 2. So then let us say select equal to you selected C++ programming language. Else, the last option is else. Select becomes equal to you selected Python programming language. So when radio button get is the method which gets the value present in the radio variable. So when it is equal to 1, it should print you selected C programming language. If it is 2, it should say C++ programming language. Else it should say you selected Python programming language. Now this particular select message we have to include it in the label. So we have to incorporate it in the label. So label.config text equal to select and font is equal to Arial, 20. Arial, 20. So this is the entire program. Initially we are saying we are creating a label widget and saying select language which you want to learn. So it should say select language you want to learn. Then I am creating 3 radio buttons, one for C, the other for C++, and the third one for Python. So 3 radio buttons gets created with the help of the radio button widget. Then I am packing the radio button on the screen with the pack function. And then I'm having my label widget again, which displays the text you selected C++ programming language. So this is the label widget once again. And then we are having the function called selection, which which checks for the radio.get method. If the value is equal to 1, it will say you selected C programming language. If it is 2, C++ programming language. Otherwise, it will say you selected Python programming language. So now if I execute this particular code, so we get this particular screen. Select language which you want to learn. I select C. It will say you selected C programming language. Click on C++. You selected C++ programming language. Python, you selected Python programming language. So at one particular instance, we can select only one particular option, either C, C++ or Python. So this is how radio button is used. It helps the user to select one particular option from the set of predefined options. So hope so friends, it is clear for you. A radio button is one of the most important widget in Tkinter. It shows multiple choices to the user, out of which it allows the user to choose exactly one option, and a Python function is associated with the radio button. This function is called when you click on the radio button. Hope so friends, it is clear for you. If you have any doubts, please do reach to me out in the comment section. If you like my video, click on the like button And please do subscribe to my channel to get notifications of my new videos. Till then, see you. Bye bye.